Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees of ISKCON Richmond and also devotees from other congregations who have kindly joined this meeting. Today is the auspicious Tithi of Kamada Ekadashi 2023, and it is the most auspicious Avirbhav Tithi, appearance day of our Guru Mahārāj, Param Pujya Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj. And it is Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj's 74th appearance day. So my dear friend Divyanam Prabhu has asked me to speak few words for around 30 minutes in glorification of Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj. I would like to read one verse from Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 17, where Lord Krishna is instructing Shri Uddhavji about Guru Tattva. So this is a very important verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 11.17.27. This is a verse that is worth memorizing. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum, Vasudeva Jagadguru. In our scriptures, it is again and again said that the ultimate spiritual master, the ultimate guru, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna himself. The Guru Tattva comes from Krishna. Krishna's immediate expansion is Lord Balaram. Sarva Avatari Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan, Tahara Dvitiya Deha, Shri Balaram. And Shri Balaramji is the Guru Tattva. All the Gurus, they come from Shri Nityananda Ram or Balaram. Lord Krishna, being the origin of the Guru Tattva and being the original Guru, is the highest authority. And in the Amala Puran, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Krishna himself is teaching us about Guru Tattva. So let us carefully study this verse. Again, this is Srimad Bhagavatam 11.17.27. Lord Krishna is telling Uddhavji, Acharyam mam vijaniyan navamanyeta karhichit namartya buddhya suyeta sarvadeva mayo guru. Translation and purport by our beloved founder Acharya Nitya Lila Pravishtha Om Vishnupad Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Mahārāj Śrīla Prabhupada. Even though Śrīla Prabhupada did not personally translate the 11th canto, but this verse is spoken by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit. So because this verse appears in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit and Srila Prabhupada has translated the entire Chaitanya Charitamrit, we have a purport and translation by Srila Prabhupada directly. Actually, the translations and purports given by Srila Prabhupada's empowered disciples, like His Holiness Hridayananda Goswami Mahārāj, His Grace Dravida Prabhu, and His Grace Gopi Pranadhan Mahashay, they are non-different from Srila Prabhupada's purports, because these are Guru Sevaks. These are humble servants of Srila Prabhupada who were empowered by Srila Prabhupada. So there is no difference between the translations and purports that occur after 10th canto, 13th chapter, the 14th chapter onwards, and the ones that Srila Prabhupada directly gave us. There is no difference. one in Tattva, one in Siddhanta. This verse, however, appears in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, so directly translated by Srila Prabhupada. Acharyam mam vijaniyam navamanyeta karhichit na martya buddhya suyeta sarvadeva mayo guruhu. Translation: one should know the Acharya as myself. Lord Krishna is saying one should know the Acharya as myself. Acharyam mam vijaniyam. You should know the Acharya to be me, Sakshad Hari, and never disrespect the Acharya in any way. Navamanyeta karhichit. We should never disrespect Shri Guru. Never. Gurur avagya is one of the 10 offenses against the holy name. Navamanyeta karhichit. One should never disrespect. कभी अपमान नहीं करना चाहिए गुरु का. Never disrespect the Guru in any way. Not with body, not with mind, not with words. मन में भी कभी गुरु के प्रति अपराध नहीं करना है. लेकिन अपराध हो जाएगा. 100% अपराध हो जाएगा. We will commit offense against Shri Guru, 100% guaranteed. If we consider Shri Guru anyone less than Sakshadhari. If we have Manushya Buddhi, if we consider Shri Guru to be an ordinary human being, 100% guaranteed we will commit Guru Aparadh. We will commit offense against the Guru. Therefore, Lord Krishna says in the third line, Na martya buddhya suyeta. One should not have martya buddhi towards Guru. One should not consider Guru to be an ordinary man. No, Guru is not an ordinary human being. And asuyeta. Asuyeta. Na asuyeta. One should not envy Shri Guru. One should not envy Shri Guru. Now one may think, how can someone envy Guru? Hare Krishna. The history of this world is a witness, my dear friends, how disciples also become envious of Shri Guru. Maya is very strong and we are very weak. It is possible. It has happened. It is happening and it will continue to happen. Disciples envy Shri Guru. It is a deadly disease. Deadly disease. And the reason is ahankar, false ego. Where we feel, I want respect. I should be respected. I should be recognized. I should be honored. That is envy for Guru. Guru asuyeta. Why? Because we have already chanted many times. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. That means all respect, all glory is for Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. If we want respect, we are envious of Guru. If we want recognition, if we want pratishtha, honor, distinction, we are directly envious of Shri Guru because these belong to Shri Guru. All honor, all respect, all prestige belongs to Shri Guru, not to us. So if we desire any of it, Guru asuyeta. We are envious of Shri Guru. And Krishna is saying, Na martya buddhya, na asuyeta. We should not envy Shri Guru and we should not consider Shri Guru to be an ordinary human being. Sarva deva mayo guruhu. Shri Guru is the representative of all the demigods. And demigods are great devotees. All of them, including Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. See, all the acharyas, the 4 Kumaras, Shripad Narad Muni, who is Devarshi, Sarva Deva Maya Guru. Guru is representing the acharyas. All the Sampradaya acharyas are there, working, bestowing mercy through our Gurudev. So this is Guru Tattva, my dear friends. Acharyam mam vijanyam. Just like Krishna is the source of all devatas. Aham adirhi devanam. In Bhagavad Gita ji, Lord Krishna says, Aham adirhi devanam. I am the source of all demigods. Sarva devamayo guru. Similarly, Guru also is all the demigods appearing to us in one form. Because demigods means devotees. And Guru Mahārāj is the giver of bhakti to us. One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. Such a deep statement. Because of time restraint, I will not be able to, time constraint, I will not be able to read the whole purport. But Srila Prabhupada's disciples write in the purport, this verse appears in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 1, text 46. His Divine Grace, Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtottara Shata, Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swāmī Mahārāj Prabhupada has commented on this verse as follows. Srila Prabhupada writes, quote, this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.17.27, spoken by Lord Shri Krishna when he was questioned by Uddhav regarding the 4 social and spiritual orders of society. Uddhavji asks about Varnashram and Lord Krishna quotes this verse in that discussion. Lord Krishna was specifically instructing how a brahmachari should behave under the care of a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer facilities. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer of facilities offered by his disciples. He is like a parent. Without the attentive service of his parents, a child cannot grow to manhood. Similarly, without the care of the spiritual master, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. One cannot, without Guru, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. Srila Prabhupada writes, a spiritual master is also called Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. So the purport continues, but we will stop here because of time constraint. But there is another verse I would like to show all of you, which is very important. And actually, I would like to glorify Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj based on this verse today. This verse is also from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 23. Where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving instructions to Srila Sanatana Goswami. So here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing the spiritual advancement of a devotee. How from the stage of Shraddha, a devotee makes more and more advancement and reaches the stage of Rati or Prem, also sometimes called as Bhav. So this is a very, very important verse. Another verse worth memorization, worth memorizing for all of us. This verse has been written personally by Srila Rupa Goswami in Sri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Of course, it was taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadam Mahyam Tadati Sva Padantikam. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here is teaching this verse to Srila Rupa Goswami's guru, Srila Sanatana Goswami. So we can understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught this to Srila Sanatana Goswami, and Srila Sanatana Goswami must have spoken it to Srila Rupa Goswami in Vrindavan, and therefore Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu quotes this verse, which later on is written by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami in the Parampara in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So let's read. Very, very important verse. 2 verses actually. Kshantir avyartha kalatvam viraktir mana shunyata asha baddha samutkantha namagane sadaruchihi asaktis tadgunakhyane pritis tadvasati sthale it adayo nubhavasyo jata bhavang kure jane. Very, very sweet verses from Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that The symptoms visible in a person in whose heart the seed of Krishna Prem, the seed of love of God, has fructified. Jata bhavankure jane. When a person has graduated from sadhana bhakti into bhav bhakti, prema bhakti, these are the symptoms seen. In other words, my dear friends, these are the symptoms of a pure devotee. जो भगवान के विशुद्ध भक्त है, ये उनके दिव्य लक्षण है. These are the symptoms of a pure devotee. What are they? Shantir avyartha kalatvam viraktir mana shunyata. A pure devotee, shanti, forgives, very forgiving. There is shanti and there is shanti. Shanti is peacefulness. This is not that. This is shanti. Shanti means not holding any vengeful attitude towards the aggressors. Shanti, forgiving. Someone may have done great harm, but a pure devotee does not bear any grudge, does not hold any grudge, completely forgives. Shanti. Like Śrīla Haridas Thakur forgave the Jallads, the executioners who were attacking him in 22 marketplaces with sticks and clubs. Shanti, forgiveness. Avyartha kalatvam. A pure devotee will never waste time. Never waste time. Avyartha kalatvam. Virakti, completely detached from sense enjoyment. Mana shunyata, absence of false prestige. Asha bandha, always hopeful. Always hopeful. Kabhi nirash nahi. You will never meet a pure devotee and walk away disappointed. It is impossible. Impossible. Whenever you meet a pure devotee, you get so much confidence, so much hope. You always walk out smiling after meeting a pure devotee. Asha bandha, always hopeful. Samutkantha, great eagerness for what? Namagane. Great eagerness for bhakti and namagane sadaruchi. Great taste for chanting the holy names and glorifying Krishna. Namagane sadaruchi. Singing the holy names, kirtan, japa, very enthusiastic. Always taste. Asakti, great attachment, tad gunakhyane. Describing the transcendental qualities of Krishna, he is very attached to that. A pure devotee is very attached to glorifying and describing the divine transcendental qualities of Krishna. Priti tad vasati sthale, and has great affection for residing in the dham. Great affection for residing in the dham. Gaura amara je sab sthane korila brahmana range se sab sthana heri boami pranai bhakata sange. Today's Shri Kamada Ekadashi. Ekadashi is the tithi where traditionally in our ISKCON we sing this bhajan of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this verse appears in that bhajan of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, where it is said that all the places of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu's pastimes I want to visit with his loving associates, with his loving devotees. Pranay Bhakata Sange. So pure devotee has Priti Stad Vasati Sthale, has great affection for the holy places of Krishna. Iti Adayah, and etc. There may be other symptoms also, like ecstatic symptoms and others. They are there. Anubhava, these are the signs. Siu, Jata, Bhavankure Jane. When the seed of Krishna Prem, ecstatic love for Krishna, has sprouted, Bhavankure, when it has sprouted, these are the symptoms, Anubhava. These are the Anubhava, the symptoms, the signs and symptoms of a person who is a pure devotee of Krishna. And today, I would like to glorify His Holiness Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj, based on these characteristics described in this verse. Shantir avyartha kalatvam. First quality is Shanti, forgiving the aggressors. 30 minutes, even 30 hours are not enough to glorify Pujyapad Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj. What can I say? He is the senior god brother, the Shiksha Guru, the well-wisher, and in many ways the guide, the support system for my Guru Maharaj, Param Pujya Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. So what ability do I have to glorify a great personality who is held in such high regard, such high esteem by my Guru Pada Padma? I don't have that capability. I don't have that capacity, but I will try. Shanti. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj in the year 1989 in Spain, at the airport, when he was about to board a flight to go to Barcelona from Spain, suddenly a person who was mentally unstable, was having some psychiatric problem, with a very sharp steel knife from behind, like a coward, he attacked Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj and tried to cut the neck of Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj. And then he ran away with the knife. Maharaj's external jugular vein was cut, his neck muscles were cut, many important nerves were cut, and his windpipe, the trachea, was also cut open completely. Maharaj could not speak. He was losing large volume of blood, and all this is happening suddenly. And even the medical facilities at the Madrid airport were so poor in 1989 that there was no 911 immediately available. There was no airport medical aid that was effectively and immediately available. Maharaj was sitting there on the floor, holding, he took his sannyas cloth and wrapped it around his neck to stop the hemorrhage. And the devotee who was with him, they chased behind the attacker to catch him. And then after some time, the police comes and says, okay, get up, follow me. Maharaj has lost so many pints of blood. And they are telling Maharaj, come on, follow me. And Maharaj somehow gets up. Maharaj cannot speak a word because his windpipe is cut off. He cannot speak a word. And Maharaj wanted to lie down. Maharaj tried to lie down, and all the blood started entering his lungs from the open windpipe. He started choking and coughing on his own blood. And the police is saying, come on, walk with me. There is no stretcher, there is no ambulance, nothing. Maharaj somehow stood up and started following the policeman. And the policeman takes him to the curbside outside the airport and says, let's go to my car. I will take you to the hospital in my car. The car is 100 meters away. Maharaj has lost blood. He's feeling dizzy. He feels like he's going to faint. And somehow Maharaj walks up to the police car. It's a small Fiat. And just then the ambulance comes. And then Maharaj gets into even the ambulance doesn't have a stretcher to take Maharaj inside. So they tell Maharaj, okay, get inside the ambulance. Maharaj has to get inside the ambulance. When he has lost so much blood, he's feeling dizzy, lightheaded, he's feeling faint. Somehow Maharaj gets into the ambulance. And where do they take him? They take him to airport first aid. First aid center in the airport, not to some real hospital. And there they see his wounds, they put some gauze and they say, cannot do much, take him to the ER. As if that needed a first aid medical staff to tell. Of course, Mahārāj needed to go to the ER. Then they tell him, get back into the ambulance. This time Mahārāj cannot even stand up. Now he has lost so much blood already. Then finally they got a stretcher and put Mahārāj inside the ambulance and took him to the ER, where he had to be given so much blood, IV fluids, antibiotics. In those days, the blood banks were not so well equipped, and all the latest tests, diagnostic tests, were not run routinely on the blood bags. People would just come and donate in emergency situations. So some people donated. And you know how in the 1960s and 70s and even 80s, this is 1989, there was rampant intravenous drug use and HIV and all those things, hepatitis C, hepatitis B. So somehow the blood was not tested. Mahārāj got several bags of blood to save his life. One of the bags was infected with chronic hepatitis. And Mahārāj got chronic hepatitis from a blood transfusion that later on led to liver failure. Hare Krishna. And Mahārāj was taken to the hospital. He had a tracheostomy. He had a major surgery. He was in the ICU in a critical condition for several days. And then when Mahārāj came out to the regular floor out of the ICU, Mahārāj was told that the local politicians have made a lot of negative publicity about ISKCON because of this attack. They are saying that an ISKCON devotee attacked Mahārāj. This is a cult, and they have a lot of infighting and politics within ISKCON. All this negative publicity, all lies. This fellow who attacked was not a ISKCON devotee. He was just a visitor to ISKCON temple. He just followed Mahārāj. He was a new fellow, not even chanting, and he attacked Mahārāj. So Mahārāj said, arrange a press conference. So Mahārāj still had tubes going into his body, and he held a press conference. And Mahārāj speaks Spanish. So Mahārāj spoke in Spanish and English and gave a statement that this attacker was not a ISKCON devotee. We are not a cult. And Mahārāj started preaching from his hospital bed. We are not a cult. This is a bona fide movement. It's been there from the beginning of creation. This is started by Lord Krishna himself. Evam parampara praptam. Like that, Mahārāj started preaching. And 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and few years ago, Srila Prabhupada came and spread everything. And it gave such a positive response from the people. It gained such positive response from the local people that many people became devotees after hearing that speech of the Swāmī from the hospital bed, seeing his determination, seeing how he survived. But the point is, Mahārāj never held any grudge against the attacker. Mahārāj never held any grudge against anyone. Mahārāj just got hepatitis C, chronic hepatitis from the blood transfusion, but no grudge. Such a cowardly attack on Mahārāj for no reason. Mahārāj never held any grudge. In fact, Mahārāj is everyone's well-wisher. Everyone's well-wisher. Shanti. Completely forgiving. Completely forgiving. And in Mahārāj's own words, Mahārāj, what were your thoughts? Can you describe the attack and how you dealt with it? Mahārāj's own words. Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj says, I was standing at the check-in counter where I was about to check in my bag and everything and board the flight. I just felt this cold blade of the steel knife slice through my neck. I tried to stop and tried to speak something, but I couldn't speak because my windpipe was cut off. The air from the lungs goes into the voice box here through the windpipe. If the windpipe is sliced, we cannot breathe through the mouth and nose. We have to breathe directly from the neck. And the air from the lungs cannot reach the voice box to produce sound, to produce voice. The voice box was cut off from the lungs. Cannot speak. No sound will come. Mahārāj said, I couldn't speak. And because I couldn't speak, I was trying to chant Hare Krishna, but I couldn't chant Hare Krishna because my windpipe was cut off. Mahārāj said I was doing Manasik Jap. Maharaj said, in my mind, continuously I was chanting Hare Krishna through the whole ordeal. Now look at the thoughts of a pure devotee. Maharaj said, I was chanting Hare Krishna continuously in my mind. You see, bhakti has no impediment. Material things have impediments. Devotional service, because it is at the level of the soul, there are no material impediments. How can matter impede the spirit? Something that is Chidananda. How can it? Not possible. Jad Vastu cannot stop something that is Chinmay. And Bhakti is Chinmay. It is Chidananda. It is Satchid Ananda. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatva Nama Namya. There is no impediment. In his mind, Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj was constantly chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Maharaj said, as I chanted Hare Krishna, I remembered Srila Prabhupada. I remembered Panchatattva. I remembered Radha Madhav. And I remembered Navadvip Dham. Maharaj said, in my mind, I begged forgiveness from any devotees that I had offended in my life, knowingly, unknowingly. Maharaj said, my whole life flashed in front of me because death was staring me. My mind was going faint because of the blood loss, and I was about to pass, about to leave this body. Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj says, at that time I realized that this is happening because in the course of preaching, I have taken on and accepted many unqualified disciples. Maharaj said, I could feel this in the moment. I have taken many unqualified disciples in the course of preaching, and after taking Diksha from me, they have broken the 4 regulative principles. They have missed their japa. And Maharaj said, I immediately realized that this is perhaps the reaction for that. And I was willing to accept death. But then suddenly, while I was remembering Srila Prabhupada, Maharaj said, in my mind, I offered obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. Now imagine all this is happening on the airport with people screaming, yelling. He said, so many people are coming to me looking at the blood and all these reactions, running away. All this commotion is happening. And Maharaj in his mind is chanting Hare Krishna and offering full obeisances to Srila Prabhupada. And Maharaj said, when I offered my obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, in my heart, Srila Prabhupada spoke that you have not fulfilled the instructions I gave you. Remember, I told you to develop Mayapur Dham. I told you to build the Vedic planetarium. I told you to travel and have 50,000 disciples. Those instructions are not yet fulfilled. And immediately Maharaj said, I came back and I said, I cannot die. I cannot die. I have to fight. I have to live. Because in this body, the instructions that my Guru Maharaj gave, they have not been fulfilled yet. I need more time. Maharaj said, that's when the police wala came and said, come on, follow me. So Maharaj got up, and anyway, Maharaj came to the hospital and Maharaj made a full recovery. And guess where Maharaj went from the hospital in Madrid, Spain? New Panihati Dham ki jai. Maharaj went to London. From London, Maharaj came to Atlanta, which is very dear to Guru Maharaj, very dear to his golden heart. Always Maharaj is thinking of Atlanta, New Panihati Dham. Maharaj came here and then underwent some treatment here also from an ENT doctor. And then Maharaj went to New Talavan, which is a farm community, not very far from Atlanta. So here we understand how Maharaj is completely forgiving and how Maharaj is completely absorbed in service to Srila Prabhupada, not caring about his own body and never wasting a moment. Even when he was bleeding on the airport floor amidst the chaos, Maharaj is chanting Hare Krishna, thinking of Srila Prabhupada, offering obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, remembering Mayapur Dham, remembering Gaur Nitai, and remembering Radha Madhav. Maharaj said all this. This is the deep heart of a pure devotee. Avyartha kalatvam. Maharaj never wastes a moment. It is said, my dear friends, that for years, Mahārāj, because Mahārāj was asked by Srila Prabhupada personally to preach and accept disciples, Mahārāj would travel all over the world, accepting disciples, teaching them, training them, encouraging them, giving them instructions. And Mahārāj would have breakfast in one city, lunch in another city, and dinner in another city. This is a fact, my dear friends. If you think that is a lot, then hear this. Breakfast in one country, lunch in another country, and dinner in another country. This has also happened. Mahārāj was amazing. If you think that is too much, breakfast in 3 devotees' homes, lunch in 3 devotees' homes, and dinner in 3 devotees' homes. That has also happened. To encourage devotees. You see, Srila Rupa Goswami advises that 6 things we should not do. One is atyahar. One should not eat too much. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha shadbhir bhakti vinashati. And then we have our acharyas, like Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj, who are having multiple meals in a day in different devotees' homes. And the reason for that is because, and I realized this after I started assisting Radha Bhav in the kitchen, to cook, it takes so much effort. Really, when you cook, you're putting your pran in that food. Cleaning, washing, cutting, giving the tadka, and cooking it, making sure it's nicely cooked. Is the salt right? Is the masala right? Is the sugar right? Temperature right? Is it cooked properly? Is it arranged properly in the plate? Is it served properly to Krishna with love? And then taken and then served to Guru Mahārāj. Cooking bhoga, offering it to Krishna, and then serving Guru Mahārāj Mahaprasad is an act of complete absorption. It is a samadhi. It's a different type of samadhi. Cooking in the kitchen is a different kind of kirtan, samadhi, whatever you want to call it. It's an absorption. It's a devotional service. It's a limb of bhakti. Advaita Acharya, Srimati Sita Thakurani, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his good wife, Tapan Mishra and his family members, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Raghav Pandit, these were Jagadananda Pandit. These are all the devotees. Damayanti, Raghav Pandit. These are the devotees who used to cook for Mahaprabhu with so much love. So cooking is not some small thing. Now imagine Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj is in Atlanta, for example, and Mahārāj is here for 3 days, and there are 50 disciples, 50 families. And they all want Mahārāj associate. They all want to serve Mahārāj. And Mahārāj knows by serving Gurudev, they will make advancement. So one mode is that no atyahar. Rupa Goswami has said, Prabhupada said, only eat till your half stomach is full, 25% with water, 25% empty. So that is one bhav. And then there is one Audarya bhav from the resident of the Audarya Dham. Eternal associate of Audarya, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Audarya, mercy. ठीक है. You want to serve me? You will make advancement by cooking for your Guru, by serving your Guru. I will come. So 3 breakfasts in 3 homes, 3 lunches in 3 homes, 3 dinners in 3 homes, just for the sake of the devotees. So they get to serve their Guru. So they get to make spiritual advancement. So the so-called obesity of Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj is an opulence. It is a very divine, sweet attribute of this Mahabhagavad, which is a sign of his Audarya Bhav, his mercy upon his disciples. Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyana Bhajaya. It is not possible to understand. It is not possible to understand the heart of a pure devotee. A pure devotee may eat in many devotees' homes just to give them a chance to serve. You see, I'll give an example. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 18th chapter, Lord Krishna says, this message should not be spoken to those who are not pure, those who are not devoted, those who are not shraddhavan, those who are not austere. Isn't it? Don't preach it to those who are envious. Don't preach the message of Bhagavad Gita. Don't give Krishna Upadesh to those who are not pure, non-envious. It's there in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying. And what does Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Shuno shuno Nityananda, shuno Haridas. Amara आज्ञाय तुमी करो ये प्रकाश गृहे गृहे प्रति गेहे करो ए भिक्षा बोलो कृष्णा भजो कृष्णा करो कृष्ण शिक्षा जारे देखो तारे कहो कृष्ण उपदेश आमारा गा गुरु है तारा ए देश. Krishna is saying one thing, yes, that is there, but then there is a Audarya Bhav of Mahaprabhu. Audarya Bhav of Mahaprabhu. And if we have a choice between Krishna and Mahaprabhu, who do we listen to? That Krishna who is overpowered by Radharani's love, Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Dev. So what do? We preach Bhagavad Gita to everybody. We give Gita. Don't give this knowledge to those who are not austere, those who are... We give. Take this Gita. We shove it into people's hands. Why? Because Mahaprabhu said, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Gita is Krishna Upadesh. Give it. So sometimes on the order of Mahaprabhu, we may do something that may be against the Shastra also. Because Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavat pranite. Dharma is what Krishna tells. And who is the avatar, Yuga avatar? It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we do what Mahaprabhu says. Another example. Lord Balramji told Ladini Mataji, I love your service. You are not leaving New Vrindavan. And you are not leaving me and going anywhere. I am here only because of your love. Jagannath and Baldev told Ladini Mataji. Many times they told her, you are not leaving our service. We love the way you serve us. And Nityananda Prabhu would come and tell Ladini Mataji, nothing doing. You leave. Enough of deity worship. The whole world is suffering. I want you to go and preach. Go preach in Africa. It was Dharma Sankat. Who should I listen to? Should I listen to Nityananda or should I listen to Balram? What did she do? Yes. She took the Paduka of Balramji. Every night she would sleep on the Paduka of Balramji, but she left his service to serve Sri Nityananda Prabhu. And she went all over. She went to India. She went all over America. She went to Columbus, Cincinnati. She went to Cleveland. She went to Africa. Extensively traveled throughout Africa. And she served. So the point is, sometimes a pure devotee may do things that don't fit into the box. But there may be a very sweet divine reason behind that. And I have personally seen Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj do that, just to give an opportunity to disciples, to devotees, well-wishers, followers, ISKCON devotees in general. He extended himself. That is the sign of his compassion. That is a sign of his Audarya Bhav. So like that, there are so much. I just got started with this verse. There are many qualities, but I have already spoken more than 50 minutes. It's been 12:52. I was only supposed to stop at 12:30. So maybe if Krishna gives an opportunity, sometime later again, I will continue. But I wanted to cover all the qualities. But Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj is such a shining light for the entire world. After Srila Prabhupada left, ISKCON went through, please listen to this very carefully, my dear friends. After Srila Prabhupada left, there were very few spiritual masters in ISKCON who continued the process of Diksha and Shiksha. Many of the Guru Maharajas, Guru Varga that we have today, they became initiating gurus in the 1980s. 1982, 1983, 1984, 1985, like that, onwards. Later on, they became initiating gurus. But when Srila Prabhupada left this planet in 1977, there was a great need for a bona fide Acharya. And Shri Acharya Pad, Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj, fulfilled that great need. Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj also fulfilled that need, filled that great vacuum that was felt after Srila Prabhupada had left. Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj especially. And today in our ISKCON, there are many senior leaders, but Param Puja Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and Param Puja Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj are very unique and special in their contribution, because they are really very senior, very, very senior in their age, in their service, in their contribution to this world. Unparalleled, unparalleled. So we profusely offer our love, respect, gratitude at the lotus feet of Srila Jayapatākā Swami Guru Maharaj today on his 74th Avirbhav Tithi for holding the Gadādhara after Srila Prabhupada left. The parampara has continued thanks to these acharyas. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj ki Jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Adi Gadādhara Prabhu ki
Sant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai. Thank you so very much. It is truly not satisfying enough, Prabhu. We wish it can keep going and going and going. There's so much nectar. But yes, we
I'm
have
also not satisfied, but
yeah, I can see. So maybe we can continue this. I mean, we have Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji also here on this call, and she is an empowered disciple, very, very senior disciple of Param Pujnya Bhaj Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj. And she's also full of Adhara, just like Maharaj. And we would like to request, honor Mataji, if she can speak a few words in glorification of Maharaj. I know she's having many other wonderful celebrations going, but she's so kind and compassionate that she said, okay, I'll come for some time and speak about Maharaj. So I think Mataji is here. Yes, Mataji is here. Yes. So okay, so Mataji is here. Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji ki Jai. Mataji, we are having all, I don't know if you can see all the ISKCON Richmond. So let's thank Mataji and welcome Mataji on Zoom. Let's start chanting. Hare Mataji,
Hare
we are
Krishna.
truly. Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Well, Prabhu, I know that, we have very less time, but, it was so much nectarian to hear Adi Gadādhara Prabhu. So if Adi Gadādhara Prabhu would like to continue, wonderful too.
Mataji, we will all be purified by hearing you. Please. You
I'm
have
just so
served
satisfied.
Srila Guru Maharaj for so many years with so much love. So please, we want to hear from you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
And actually, I would like to say a few words about Mataji. If we get to hear about Mataji, is actually non-different than hearing about Maharaj. Mataji is a very, very senior Vaishnavi in our movement. She got initiated by Maharaj at the age of 15. So when she is just a teenager, and since then she's just dedicatedly, completely dedicated her life in service of Srila Jayapatākā Swami Guru Maharaj, and she's been serving with her wonderful Vaishnava Prabhu, His Grace Advaita Chandra Prabhu in Houston, and actually they are really sharing the Adharya coming from Maharaj in so many wonderful ways, nourishing so many souls all over the world in so many ways. We are truly fortunate, Mataji. Thank you. So, Jai. Please.
Prabhu, I just want to say, but actually, just for record, I was initiated when I was 13 and a half. But on paper, we are supposed to write 15 because that time the
Jai. Thank you for sharing that, Nectar. Very well.
that's because we were not allowed to, receive initiation, but he actually saved my life by doing that. That's another story altogether.
Yes, yes.
But again, so much for this opportunity, Divyanam Prabhu, and all the devotees. We are so grateful for you to allow this opportunity to glorify a pure Vaishnava in the association of such sincere Vaishnavas. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I'd like to start with this invocation prayer, which is very appropriate for a Vyasa Puja. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, 22nd verse, where the sages of Naimisharanya are telling Sutta Goswami, Tvamna sandarshito dhatra dushtaram nishtiti shatam kalim sattvaharam pumsam Karnadhara ivarnavam. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as the captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali Yuga, which deteriorates all good qualities in a human being. Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vyasa Puja Mahamotsav ki jai. So we heard from His Grace Adi Gadādhara Prabhu about Guru Tattva, such beautifully narrated, such wonderful nectar about Guru Tattva. So I thought I will share some pastimes with all your blessings and permission, if that's okay. So there's one pastime which is just shows the point that Adi Gadādhara Prabhu was also saying, that in every moment of his life, Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj's life, he tries to always remember and chant the holy names, never deteriorates from that, even for a moment. So right now, as we all know, there's parts of his physical body that is paralyzed. So he actually needs to be under surveillance 24 hours in the day. Even when he's resting, he needs assistance. He needs someone to be with him. So it was one afternoon, and somehow by Mahavara Prabhu's mercy, who is the personal servant of Secretary of Mahārāj, and Guru Maharaj himself, Prabhu gets very good opportunity to mercifully, they have allowed him to be in the servant team, and they, he serves in the servant team whenever he's around. So one time, it was in the afternoon, and Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj was taking a nap, and after his lunch prasad, and during that time, the devotees are just supposed to stay in the room, not make even a drop of noise. Even a little bit of noise kind of wakes him. He's got very thin sleep, so a little bit of noise wakes him up. So the devotees are advised they can read, they can do anything else, but not make any sound. So my Prabhu was reading a book, and he was just, sitting there, and suddenly he hears tuck, tuck, tuck sound, as if someone is doing a click, 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 click sound. And he was alone in the room with Mahārāj at that time. And this was at New Panihati Dham in Atlanta. And he was looking everywhere from, where is the sound coming? Where is the sound coming? And then he just, he was sitting on the floor. He just woke up. He was seeing around in the bed. And then he saw Guru Maharaj's thumb. He had his clicker. And that clicker was going tuck, tuck, tuck. So even in his sleep, he was actually chanting Hare Krishna and counting. He was actually very much in deep sleep, but he was counting. that was something very, very, very amazing. Another time, Prabhu was doing the most intimate service of bathroom seva. So when they're doing the bathroom seva, at that time, when they're giving Abhishek, these servants are so fortunate that they get to bathe the physical lotus body of Śrīla Jayapatākā Mahārāj. Every day they get to bathe him, do Abhishek to him. So when they were doing that, the servants are advised that they need to, of course, take off their kurta and, just pull up their dhoti so that they don't get wet. Their dress doesn't get wet when they're doing that intimate service. So then after his bath, every day, Śrīla Jayapatākā Mahārāj would call for me, and we would discuss certain things, and he would also, tell me certain things to do in regards to his cooking, or he would take Giriraj's Shila's dot on his head, which I have Giriraj Shila. So, it's a magical Shila that I have, that is Giriraj Shila, on which Krishna put his lotus feet. So it's magic because if we just put little water, black dye comes out. And you put that, it was given to us by a Brajbasi. Actually, my Prabhu is from Vrindavan. And so one of his Chachajis, he is the Sevite of Nidhuvan. And when he saw me first time, he gave this as my Mudikai. I got Giriraj Shila. And it's black in color. And if you just put water, it gives a black dye, and, you put on your head. So it takes away all evil. Drishti. So Jayapatākā Mahārāj, every day when I'm with him, he always makes sure after his bath, he calls, Kalasudha, bring Giriraj, and he shouts, and I run with Giriraj to him, and then he adorns his forehead with Giriraj's tilak. So then when almost everyone was there, my Prabhu was also there in the room when I went inside, and Mahārāj told me in Bengali, because there were other servants also. So Mahārāj told me in Bengali, he pulled me close to him, and in Bengali he told me, Or Genji Phata Ache, which means that his undergarment is torn, it has a hole. He meant my Prabhu's banyan was torn a little bit. It had a small hole. And he was very upset with me. And he said, you have been traveling with me for 2 months now. You take such good care of me. Why can't you take care of your husband? I said, I couldn't first understand, what it was that he was really trying to tell me. And then I said, Guru Maharaj, I didn't even know there was a hole in my Prabhu's, under like his, inner shirt. I didn't know that. And he called me more closely. He said, Guru Maharaj took out his inner shirt and said, it's got a hole right here. You didn't see? How can you let him wear something like this? How can he wear torn things? Is this how you take care of him? You take such good care of me. How can you not take care of him? And I said, yes, Guru Maharaj, it is my fault. It is my fault. I'm very sorry. Please forgive me, Guru Maharaj. And then my Prabhu, he understands Bengali a little bit. So he understood what Maharaj was saying. And then he stepped in and he said, well, Guru Maharaj, it's not her fault. She's been with you for 2 months. I just came in for this weekend. And I just brought on my own, I just picked up whatever, was there in the house. I just picked up. So it's my fault. I wore that, the torn banyan. I wore that. It's my fault. It's not her fault. And the Guru Maharaj was like, no, it's still her fault. Why should she keep even a, torn banyan in the house? It should not be in the house. So that was a very big lesson for me. So now even I see a tiny hole in any of his clothes, first thing I do is put it in the trash. No, they're not allowed even in the house. So, anyways, but this goes to say that how observant he is. My Prabhu, he is a disciple of Śrīla Radhanath Mahārāj, and Jayapatākā Mahārāj is so much, he treats my Prabhu with so much of love and that much care, but he didn't tell him that your banyan is torn. He didn't tell him. He told me because it was my duty to take care of him nicely. So this is how sensitive he is, and how he teaches his disciples, when they are wrong, that how to do things in the right way. So that's something that I learned. Of course, I've tried to never be negligent, but that was a mistake on my part. So that was a very nice lesson learned. He taught me to take care of my Prabhu very nicely. And, we always read in the Shastra, it is said that the Guru is the external manifestation of the Paramatma. The Guru knows everything. Krishna tells the Guru whatever the Guru needs to know about the disciple. And somehow or the other, I have been recipient of this at least 2 or 3 times in my own life. So I'll share that. In 1996, Prabhupada's centennial year, we moved to Mayapur by his instructions. Me and my family, we moved to Mayapur, my father and mother and myself. We moved to Mayapur full time. And, we moved from Middle East. So in Middle East, we were just a small group of devotees, 20 devotees. We would have Mahārāj all to ourselves. And I was really young at that time. So I would literally be with him 24 hours whenever he would be in the Middle East, always with him, just with him, And when we came to Mayapur, it was like from that small lake, we are put in the ocean, and there were so many devotees, and we were like, okay, how to see Mahārāj, it was like an ocean of devotees between us and him. And we would never even get time to even talk to him. So it was such a huge contrast immediately. So I remember Jananivas Prabhu, when we were there, he just saw me and he said, you should make jewelry for Radha Madhava. And I said, Prabhu, I don't have experience. I've never made jewelry. He said, oh, he took out his beads from his bead bag. And he said, imagine these are 2 needles. You just do like this and Radharani will inspire you. You can make jewelry. So 96 Radhashtami was the first time that I made jewelry for Radha Madhava. And I was thinking that I wish I could tell Mahārāj that I'm doing this service. Is this okay? So Radhashtami is his sannyas anniversary also. And he came down to take darshan during Darshanarti, and Radha Madhava were, shining. I had made golden jewelry for Radha Madhava. They were shining in that entire jewelry set. I was like praying that, oh Radhe, will he ever know? Will Guru Maharaj know that I'm doing this service? And does he approve that I should do this service? And any of you who've seen me, I'm very short. I'm not even 5 feet tall. I'm 4'11". I'm very short person. And my Guru Maharaj, he's almost like 6'2". He's 6'2", very, very tall. So, and amongst the ocean of devotees, I would anyways get lost. No one can see me. I would just get stampeded by devotees. So I was standing in one corner of, behind a pillar along with my mother. I was standing. And suddenly when the Guru Puja was going on, everyone was doing parikrama after the deity darshan. So suddenly, next to me, Guru Maharaj came out. He gave me this chadar. He just put it on me. And then he said, this is his Maha. He just put it on me. And he said, Srimati Radharani, she loves the jewelry. So continue that service. He just said this and he left. It was amazing. I went and I ran to Jananivas Prabhu. I said, did you tell him that I made this jewelry? And he said, no, I didn't even tell him anything. So then later, many years later, I had asked him that, Guru Maharaj, how did you know? He said, Srimati Radharani told me. They give me reports. They give me reports of who is doing what in the Dham. So they told me. So it is something amazing. One time, in 97, Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj made me his correspondence secretary. So I was assisting with all his emails and snail mails. Those days we had more snail mails than emails. And so one time I remember he was in Russia and we received an email. He was actually supposed to come to US. It was the summertime. And, because in Russia it was so cold, that it was, he caught on a very bad fever, pneumonia kind of fever. And he had to cancel his US trip, and he had to cut his trip short, and he had to fly back to Mayapur. So he wrote in an email to us at the JPS office. He said that I'm having to cut my trip short, and I'm coming back to Mayapur just to recover. So he came to Mayapur, and I felt so bad. When I read that email from him, I felt so bad. I immediately went to Nrsingadev in the temple, and then I prayed to Lord Nrsingadev. The Nrsingadev, it may not be even worth it, but I'm still making this prayer to you that it was around 11:15, 11:20 in the afternoon. Lord Nrsingadev's eating time was coming very soon. I said, you're very merciful during this time. Pankajangri Prabhu had told me that you listen to prayers. So you're about to eat what your bhoga right now. So please listen to my prayer that if you so desire, preaching is so dear to my Guru Maharaj's heart. So if you so desire, let him become all right. And you have to give his suffering to somebody, right? I'll take it on. You make him all right. Let him become all right. Okay? So I just did a thumbs up to Nrsingadev, and I said, all right, I'm going now. So I left to go and teach in the Gurukul. And that day, after I came home from the Gurukul, I was down with 102 temperature. It was the peak of summer in Mayapur. And in that temperature, suddenly I just developed 102 temperature. And it just suddenly came. And at that moment of the fever, I totally forgot that I had even made that prayer. I was like, my head is aching, I'm strolling, what's happening? My parents were worried, you've never got so much fever before. So it stayed for a day. The next day, Jayapatākā Mahārāj came. And then somehow the next day, when we went to take darshan and do the Guru Puja, I went like this, almost like this. I had a shawl in the middle of the afternoon and went to see him. And we offered flowers, and he just looked at me and he said, thank you. That's all he said, thank you. And then he said, because of your prayers, I'm leaving tomorrow to US. So he went, and somehow magically, within 2 days, Nrsingadev allowed me to also somehow get cured. So these are some instances, of course, that are so powerful that it, strengthens our faith that Guru is indeed the external manifestation of the Paramatma, that nothing is actually hidden from him. And I'd like to just conclude with a few pastimes that how for Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj, his god brothers hold a very, very dear place in his heart. And, those days early days in 96, 97, 98 in Mayapur, when I was staying there, we didn't have facilities of WhatsApp, of course. We didn't have so much emails, not so much smartphones or anything. So whenever Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj would come back from a world tour, he would we would go to his rooftop residence, and to a bunch of us, like 20, 30 of us, he would tell the highlights of his preaching. He would share the nectar himself. We would do Guru Puja, and then after that, he would sit down and he would just tell us some highlights of his preaching. So one time he came and he was saying that, I was coming in the flight. And when I was coming in the flight, he was coming from US, and he was landing in Mumbai. He had a stopover in the Middle East, and he did some programs there, continuous back-to-back programs. In fact, what Adi Gadādhara Prabhu was saying, that how much, he travels, it was actually calculated in the year 1997 that he was 6 months in the air, 6 months on land. That's how much he was traveling. And his name is in fact there in the Guinness Book of World Records, that he is the second fastest traveler in the world. So, and whenever he speaks about this, he says, this is Narada Muni's curse that Srila Prabhupada said, that is passed on in our parampara, that anyone who is in our parampara, they are cursed by Narad Muni's curse that he received from Daksha. So Srila Prabhupada has passed that curse on to us. So preaching and traveling is his life. So then he said that, he was in the flight and he had not slept for over 3 to 4 days. He had not slept. And one of my services from the very beginning was that I used to make counting beads for him, and those of you who've seen Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj's bead bag when he used to, before the 2008 stroke, his bead bag is really huge. It's gigantic, very, very big bead bag. And I had first time made the counting bead for him. I had made only one. And I went and offered that to Nrsimhadev, because counting bead is also called a sakshi, right? It's called a sakshi mala. They are the witness to our japa. So I said that, we are not always with Guru Maharaj, but as disciples, it's our duty to pray for the safety, for the well-being of our spiritual master. So with that mood, I had told Pankajangri Prabhu that please offer this Sakshi Mala to Lord Nrsimhadev's lotus feet. And that way this Sakshi Mala will be Nrsimhadev's kavacha that is there with him all the time when he's traveling and preaching. So with that mood, I went, and Pankajangri Prabhu would always give me one big garland from Nrsimhadev. He'd give me tulasi from his lotus feet. So with all that, I went. And then he said, oh, you got only one Sakshi Mala for me? I gave him the whole thing. I said, oh, Guru Maharaj, I made this for you. I was just 15 years old. I was too excited in my own world. But, I said, I made this for you. Do you like it? And then he said, yeah, I like it. But why just one? Don't you know that I use 2 counting beads? I said, oh, okay. Sorry, Guru Maharaj. I didn't know. He said, okay, make me one more tomorrow. And that one also, offer it to Nrsimhadev and give me. I said, sure, I'll bring it tomorrow itself. And then he said, do you know why I have 2 counting beads? So I said, no, Guru Maharaj, I do not know. He said, well, one is for me and one is for my unqualified disciples who do not chant their rounds. I chant for them. I had tears in my eyes. I said, এমন দয়ালু ঠাকুর কে বা কোথা পায়? Who can be more merciful? So from that day, even I started chanting extra rounds with that mood to assist him. But anyways, then so next day I went there, and so every time he would come to Mayapur, I would make these counting beads for him. 2 counting beads I would make. And one time he told me that, Kalasudha, can you make counting beads for me, that when I touch the counting bead, I chant in 4s, like 4 rounds at a time. So when I touch the counting bead, by touching them, I should know that this is my 14th round, or this is my 12th round, or this, can you have them in different textures? So I will know, because when I'm traveling, when I'm in the flight, my co-passengers are sleeping. I cannot turn on the light to see which round I am in. So just by touching, if I can find out which round I'm in, it will make my life easy. So can you do that? I said, sure, Guru Maharaj, whatever you say. So I would take so much effort. And those days in Mayapur, it would be very, very difficult to find, different, quality of beads to put in one counting bead. So I would, go through that extra thing to do that every time. So he would love those counting beads, and he would travel with them all the time. So he said that, when he was telling us, he said, even in the flight, I didn't sleep because I was chanting and catching up all my extra rounds and everything. So it had been almost 4 to 5 days when he landed at Radha Rasbihariji in Juhu after his, storm wind of a travel. And he was so tired in the night that he slept. He's telling us in the highlights, he's telling us that I slept in the Juhu guest house. I slept. And I was thinking that I might not be able to wake up for Mangal Aarti today. He had slept around 1:30. He had slept in the night, and he said, I might not be able to wake up. But then he said, I was woken up. I could not stay in my bed. You know why? He asked all of us. his facial expression was bright and he was glowing. And he just said, do you know why I was not able to stay in my bed? Because I heard my dear God brother Lokanath Swāmī singing for Radha Ras Bihari. He was singing Samsara Dava. And hearing that first verse, I just couldn't stay in bed. I immediately woke up, took a shower in 2 minutes. I ran down to Radha Ras Bihari Ji and I danced in Kirtan with my dear God brother Lokanath Swāmī. I just could not stay in bed. So his transcendental voice woke me up. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, this is so special. I mean, he taught us by his behavior, by his way of dealing, that how much he holds precious to his heart the association of his loving God brothers. So from that day, what I started doing is that, I started getting so attached to Srila Lokanath Swāmī Mahārāj's divine voice that, I had small deities whom I have even now, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. Before my marriage, before our marriage, they used to be on my study table. So I used to just wake them up, just by me singing crazily. But then from that day, when I heard him say that, from that day, I started playing Srila Lokanath Mahārāj's kirtans to wake my deities up. That I said, Mahārāj, I want to wake up to your divine voice every day. And then from that year, somehow or the other, Srila Lokanath Mahārāj and Srila Radharaman Prabhu, at that time, who is Mahārāj now, they started engaging me in the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama. So I started developing such close association with the Guru Vargas that I started feeling so blessed. And so this was the exposure that Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj gave to us, how to deal with our Guru Vargas, because how we see our Guru, respecting and dealing with his God brothers gives us an insight on how we should also deal with our own, nephews, our own cousins and, our God brothers, God sisters, cousins, everyone. This is Srila Prabhupada's family. I remember one time in Mayapur, we had gone during the Gaur Purnima's time. That time, Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj, he turns to be the best host because everyone he meets, he says, welcome home. This is your home. Mayapur is the home of all the Vaishnavas. So welcome home to Sri Mayapur Dham. And he invites his God brothers to have prasad with him. So me and Prabhu, we had just gone to see him. And the next day we were going for a preaching program. And he told, Jayapatākā Mahārāj told Prabhu that, Radhanath Mahārāj is here. After a long time, he's here. Could you do me a favor? I've been trying this for a long time, but could you do me a favor that can you go and invite Radhanath Mahārāj to come and take prasad with me? Tomorrow, I want it tomorrow. And then Prabhu said, sure, Guru Maharaj, we'll cancel our preaching program. Service to you is first. So we were supposed to go to some, remote area for preaching. So he said, no problem, Guru Maharaj, we'll postpone that. So we'll come to, take care of this first. So Radhanath Mahārāj and Guru Maharaj told, Jayapatākā Mahārāj said, find out what his diet restrictions are and Kalasudha will cook for me. She should cook in the same way for Radhanath Mahārāj also. And invite Niranjan Mahārāj too, because Radhanath Mahārāj and Niranjan Mahārāj are very close friends. So invite both of them. So then Prabhu was serving Radhanath Mahārāj as well in the Dham. So, along with, he went and we went and we invited Radhanath Mahārāj to come. And Radhanath Mahārāj, as soon as he heard the invitation coming from Jayapatākā Mahārāj, he said, I'm coming. I will cancel all my programs and I'll come for lunch. So then Prabhu said, but Guru Maharaj, please tell us what, would be your diet restrictions. So, I knew what diet Guru Maharaj follows. But then Radhanath Mahārāj looked at me and said, don't cook special for me tomorrow. I don't want you to cook special for me. Whatever you cook for Jayapatākā Mahārāj, I will honor that. And Niranjan Mahārāj, he actually has a very strict vegan diet. So Niranjan Maharaj, he told me that, yeah, I'll take the vegan, just the paneer things, don't give me, but I'll take vegan, but everything else, I will take whatever Jayapatākā Maharaj takes. So just then, we were cooking, me, my mother, we were cooking, and then Prabhu and all the other servants, when both Maharajas came over to the rooftop, we started serving them, all three of them. And then in the end, we had organized some gifts that Maharaj can give to both his god brothers, Srila Prabhupada's Pavitram, Nrsimha Pavitram, Prabhupada's bead bags, and things like that. So we offered, and he was offering that to both Maharajas. It was fantastic to see these loving reciprocations. I feel as second generation in our society today, we are the grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So this is our legacy, that what we did not have the opportunity to see Srila Prabhupada, but we are very, very fortunate that we are seeing how the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, how they are interacting with each other. And that's the legacy that we can pass on to our coming generation of devotees. And that is the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. So on this day, we pray to our Guru Vargas that just the way that, how they have such, so much of love, so much of respect, so much of trust, so much of faith amongst each other. Maybe try to imbibe even 1% of that. If we can imbibe that, then we'll be able to take this society forward. That is Srila Prabhupada's legacy. Srila Prabhupada said, devotees are most important. It doesn't matter about projects, doesn't matter about anything else. How are we doing to, what are we doing to really penetrate the hearts of the devotees? Yes, we are making new devotees, but what about the existing devotees? We are opening our front doors, but we must learn to close our back door. So the devotees, existing devotees, don't go away. They are our, such great treasures, and we must learn how to respect each other. And, Srila Prabhupada created a home in which the whole world can live peacefully. So this is our legacy, that we see our Guru Varga's interactions, their loving interaction. And if we can deal with that same respect, with that same love with each other, then we are keeping Srila Prabhupada alive, and we can pass on Srila Prabhupada's legacy to our further generations as well. So on this day, very auspicious day, we make a prayer. Oh, Shri Nityananda Ram, Shri Adi Guru, it is your representative's appearance day today. We beg you to please allow us to surrender ourselves completely at the lotus feet of Shri Guru, to be a worthy instrument in his hands, to be a nimitta matra, to assist him in his preaching mission to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and to fulfill all the desires of our Guru Vargas, Srila Prabhupada, Shri Gaur Nityananda, and Srimati Radharani. Jai. Param Pujya Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj ki Jai. Ananta Koti ki Jai. ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrinda ki Jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji ki Jai.
Vaishnava
Oh my
Vrinda ki
Jai. It was, we know that it was just a drop of the nectar you hold, Mataji, in your heart. And it was so nourishing, so pleasing to hearts. And it's such a good fortune to hear from you and His Grace Adi Gadādhara Prabhu on this most auspicious day. This is the Sartakta of a Vyas Puja celebration. All the so many devotees, whole congregation is just so happy and satisfied, and you can hear from them. So let us very we can turn on the lights.
Hari.
So let us thank Mataji and Prabhuji by loudly chanting. परम पूज्य पास श्रीला जयपताका स्वामी गुरु महाराज की परम पूज्य पास श्रीला जयपताका स्वामी गुरु महाराज व्यास पूजा महामहोत्सव की श्रील प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंदी। So once again, thank you so much, Mataji, Prabhuji, and all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, for giving your kind blessings to all of us, to our ISKCON Richmond Yatra on this most auspicious day. So we'll continue our wonderful Vyasa Puja celebration.
Hare Krishna, Divyanam Prabhu. Divyanam
Yes,
Prabhu.
yes.
After hearing
Yes.
the nectarian offering of Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji, I am reminded of one mystical experience that I had with Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj. Is it okay if I quickly share it? I will. Hare Krishna. I will try to keep it very short. So this was in 2000, I think 17 or 18. I don't remember exactly. But for every year for the Panihati festival, Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj always comes to New Panihati Dham. And in 2017 or 18, Srila Guru Maharaj was having a lot of fluid in the belly. So every few days, every 2 weeks, Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Maharaj would go to the hospital and get the fluid drained from inside the belly. It's called paracentesis or tapping. So, and Maharaj was traveling all over the world, and now he came to New Panihati Dham. So as a medical doctor, I was told to arrange for the tapping of the fluid. So, and Maharaj had insurance, but actually it was not really working. The hospitals were not honoring that insurance. So, so it was very difficult to get the appointment at such short notice, because I found out about that requirement for tapping after Guru Maharaj came to Atlanta. So when Mahārāj Prabhu told me that we have to do it, and Guru Maharaj was supposed to leave on Monday afternoon from Atlanta. That was one of the best days of my life, that Monday. So Mahārāj Prabhu told me on Wednesday of the previous week that we have to do the tapping. Monday, Guru Maharaj is going. Saturday, Sunday, it will be closed because it had to be done as an outpatient through OPD. And I work in inpatient. I'm a hospitalist. So he said that we have to do it this week. So on Wednesday, I was told we have to do this week on a weekday. So that leaves me only with Thursday and Friday, right? And Monday, Guru Maharaj is flying. His flight was at 3 o'clock. So he had to leave the temple at 12 o'clock. So I arranged it for, so I called and I begged. I told him my uncle has come from India and my uncle really needs this paracentesis. I have been working in this hospital for a few years. Do me this favor, please. Please give me an appointment. And they said, you know, we are completely booked out. We cannot do this. It has to be scheduled. I begged them. I said, please do this. Otherwise, you know, he will have to go to the ER and, you know, get hospitalized and all that. I don't want that. He's very, you know, his health is very compromised. He's a stroke survivor. Please. So they said, all right, just bring him in tomorrow. Thursday we'll do it. And I had an appointment. So I called Mahārāj Prabhu. I said, Prabhuji, it's done for Thursday afternoon. So let's, so I will come to the temple, we'll bring Guru Maharaj to the hospital and we'll get it done at Emory Hospital. I got it at Emory. And so it was confirmed. And then Thursday morning, Mahārāj Prabhu called me and he said that Guru Maharaj says that he doesn't want to do it on Thursday. It's an inauspicious day. Because, and there is a reason for that. Srila Prabhupada used to never have any important meeting on a Thursday afternoon. This Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Maharaj himself says in a class, in Prabhupada memory. I've heard it myself. But it, you know, I didn't know that. I got Thursday, I booked it. And they told me that actually for outpatient, our appointments are booked out 3-4 weeks in advance. But we are making this exception. This is one opening we are creating for you. And that technician was doing it in her lunch break as a favor to me. And Maharaj said in the morning, through Mahārāj Prabhu sent me a message that not Thursday afternoon. It's inauspicious. And I was thinking in my mind, Krishna, now what do I do? So then I called them. So then I asked Mahārāj Prabhu, please ask Guru Maharaj, then when does he want it done? So that, once I book it, then I cannot change it again. So Mahārāj Prabhu asked, and Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj says, I would like to do it Monday morning at 8 o'clock. That is most convenient for me. In my mind, I was thinking, aise nahi chalta, they will give the appointment. So Mahārāj is saying, I would like to do it 8 o'clock in the morning because that will give me good time. After the tapping, then I will have my breakfast. And then I have some meetings in the mid-morning. Then I will have my lunch and I will fly. Then I'll go to the airport at 12 o'clock. As Mahārāj sent a message. I said, Monday morning, 8 o'clock. And I am being told this on Thursday morning. And they said they are booked for 2-3 weeks in advance. And Monday morning, 8 o'clock. Specific Mahārāj said, Monday morning, 8 o'clock. In my mind, I thought this is impossible. I don't know how this is going to happen. So I called the scheduler, and I was so embarrassed because I had just the previous day I had begged her, please give me an appointment, and she had done a favor to me. I called her. I said, ma'am, actually the appointment we have this afternoon, I need to cancel it. But I want to reschedule. My uncle is going on Monday, so I want to reschedule it. So can you look at your schedule for next week? And she was so upset with me that I canceled the appointment. She didn't even let me finish. I said, but I really need to make an appointment next week. And I was coming to her that I want to make it on this day at this time. So I said, can you please look at your schedule for the next week? She didn't even let me complete. She said, Dr. Deshmukh, I've pulled up the schedule for next week. And the only appointment I have next week is Monday, 8 a.m. Because just now another patient called and canceled his appointment for Monday, 8 a.m. If you want to take that appointment, take it. Otherwise, forget it. I can't take it. Monday morning, 8 a.m. So then Monday morning, early morning, I went to the temple. We took Mahārāj, we brought him to the Emory hospital, and everything went very uneventfully. The tapping was done in the morning. Then Mahārāj had a tapping, and then we came to the temple. When we came to the temple, Mahārāj told me, there is something else I want you to do. He would call me Dr. Sahib. He would call me Doctor, I want you to do something else for me. He said, I use a knee brace which prevents my knee from hyperextending. After the stroke, Guru Maharaj's knee, it becomes like too much straight, hyperextends. So there is a brace that keeps it in place, keeps it in little bit flexion. So Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Maharaj said that that brace broke. I have been using it for last 2-3 years, but it has broken. So it is made to order, which means the technician has to come, take measurements, order it, and then after several weeks, it is shipped. It's made to order. So he said, I'm going, as you know, I'm going at 12:30 today. So can you get me a brace that prevents that hyperextension? It's a specialty brace. It takes several days to measure it and get it done. It's made to order. So I said, Guru Maharaj, it was instruction I got, and I knew this is impossible. This is another mission impossible. So I said, let me see Maharaj. And Monday I was working, and since early morning I was with Guru Maharaj. It was very intimate. Even when the tapping was being done, the ultrasound technician, I got to go inside. Mahārāj Prabhu and Achyutananda Prabhu had to wait outside. So ultrasound guided tapping was done. And that lady said, you have to turn him to one side. And it was just the technician, me and Guru Maharaj. So I went and Maharaj literally embraced me like this. And I had to turn Maharaj on one side so that they could, tap the remaining fluid. And it was and 15 minutes Maharaj was just holding like this. So it was such a wonderful morning. And I was with Maharaj. I had not seen a single patient. So after I saw Maharaj off at the van, in the minivan, and Maharaj left, I was supposed to start seeing my patients. It was already 10 o'clock and my shift starts at 7. I was under so much stress. And Maharaj says that I want you to get me that brace. And I had only 2 hours. It's 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Maharaj leaves. I have 2 hours to get that knee brace. And I don't even know what that brace is, what it looks like, how to get it, where to get it. I'm a medical doctor, not an orthopedic surgeon. So I didn't know where to get it from. So I just prayed to Srila Prabhupada. I said, I really want to do this seva for Guru Maharaj, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I just went in the physician lounge and I sat down. I didn't know what to do. Like, who do I call? What do I do next? So my brother is an orthopedic surgeon in New York. I called him and he said, impossible. Those are made to order. Someone has to measure Maharaj. It's not one size fits all. It's very specific, the angle of the knee, everything. So it will take several weeks to make it. So he said, forget it. I said, what do I do now? I was just sitting and, scratching my brains. And suddenly one orthopedic surgeon walked in, and he is the orthopedic surgeon for the Atlanta Braves, which is like a very big professional team. He's a sports orthopedic surgeon, very high profile surgeon. So he walks in, and I had referred some patients to him in the past, so he knew me a little bit. So I just thought, let me take a chance. And I told him, Dr. McDonald, my uncle is here and he has this knee problem. He's a stroke survivor and his knee hyperextends. His knee brace broke. So I want to get it, but he leaves in 2 hours, actually 1.5 hours. So what do I do? So he said, you know what? Actually, a patient of mine had needed a similar brace, and he's also quite tall. I told him my uncle is, more than 6 feet tall. So he's also quite tall, but I don't know why my secretary ordered 2 knee braces. He was supposed to need only 1, and she ordered two knee braces. And then she told me the leg also. I think it is for the left knee. And that's the exact knee that Mahārāj wanted it for. I said, okay, I can come and take a look at it. He said, if you come to my office now, I can give it to you for free, because it's just lying there. It's extra. It was ordered extra. So I went, I picked it up, and I rushed to the temple. And by this time, it was almost noon, and Guru Mahārāj was having his prasad. And I went, and as soon as I went, Mahārāj's face lit up. He said, did you get the brace? I said, yes, Mahārāj, I got it, but I don't know if it will fit you. Let's try it on. And Mahārāj quickly went, tried it on, and Guru Mahārāj even stood up with that brace. And they said, it's perfect size. It's just what I needed. It was amazing. So what I learned that day was, Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj is very dear to Radha Madhav and to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And actually, they are taking care of him. But just like the monkeys were used, Lord Ram could boil the ocean just by looking at it. But he used the monkeys to build the bridge so that the monkeys will get some service. Similarly, Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj is Gaur Priyajan. He is very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his eternal associate. And actually, he doesn't need our help. He doesn't need our services. But out of his causeless mercy, he is using us in the service so we make spiritual advancement. Everything is already arranged for Mahārāj, like I realized that day. We just have to become Nimitta Matra Bhava Savyasachin. Just have to become the instruments in the service of Guru Mahārāj. So I just remembered these 2 incidents after hearing Kalasudha Mataji's magical Govardhan. This is magical Guru Mahārāj. Everything is arranged for Guru Mahārāj. We are just instruments. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So wonderful, Prabhuji, Mataji. Yeah, so looks like, no one wants to stop here. No one wants to stop on Zoom. We have more than 50 devotees. Everyone's just saying more and more. So, well, looks like there is already a little change here in our planned festivities. We planned for lunch prasad. Now we're going to have dinner prasad. And looks like everyone is fine. Right? So, again, it is so precious, jokes apart, but just one last thing we would like to request you, His Grace Adi Gadādhara Prabhu and Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji, is just you gave us so much nectar, so many beautiful pastimes, which actually has a lot of instructions, but still we would like 1 or 2 specific instructions. If we would have to ask you, what would please Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Mahārāj as a whole congregation, 1 instruction or 2 instructions, specific instructions you think, as you had so much of association and interaction with Mahārāj, if you can just give some of those instructions from Mahārāj to all of us, all of our Richmond Yatra and all the Vaishnavas on Zoom on this auspicious day, so that we can take that in our hearts and meditate, not just today, but whole year and lifelong.
Mataji, your service to Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Mahārāj is like an ocean, and mine is not even a drop. So why don't you go ahead, then I will speak after you.
No, Prabhu, I request you. I'm that, not even a squirrel. Please, go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna. Actually, in, I think it was 2000, 17 or 15, 16 or 17, one of those years before this incident happened, the one I just narrated, a year or two before this, Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Mahārāj was in New Paniyati Dham as usual. It was Paniyati festival, and Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji was there also with him as usual, cooking for him, serving him. His Grace Advait Chandra Prabhu was there, Mahavara Prabhu was there, Achyutananda Prabhu was there. And Guru Maharaj was conducting many meetings because just before the Paniyati festival, it is very intense. A lot of work to be done. And only Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Maharaj knows those recipes that Śrīla Raghunath Das Goswami made for Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. It is a science in itself. Maharaj has so many recipes that Raghunath Das Goswami made for Nityananda Prabhu and the associates at Paniyati. And Kalasudha Mataji knows all about that. There are different pots, there are salty ones, spicy ones, sweet ones, very sweet one. So Maharaj was giving all those recipes to Kalasudha Mataji. And after that, there was going to be a disciples meet. And I really wanted to attend the disciples meet because in my heart, I consider Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Maharaj as my esteemed Shiksha Guru. And he is what to speak of my Shiksha. He is the Shiksha Guru for my Guru Maharaj. But I really wanted to attend that disciples meet. I don't know why, but I really wanted to attend. So I called up and I asked one devotee who is very close to Śrīla Jayapatākā Swāmī Maharaj at that time, can I please attend that meeting? And he said that, Prabhu, see, if we allow you, then we have to allow everybody. It's only a disciples meet. So sorry. And I got so upset at my misfortune, upset at myself. So I just went in front of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, and I prayed to Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada that you don't come to Atlanta. My Guru Maharaj never comes to Atlanta. Only once he came in 2009, that also to be with Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj. I said, you never come, Guru Maharaj. And now Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj is coming and I'm not getting to serve him also. This is not fair. I complained to my Guru Maharaj. And I remember, and then I just laid down in bed. And suddenly I got a call from, from Mahavara Prabhu. And he said that, Prabhuji, Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj has got a boil on his toe. And I think it is infected. So can you come and take a look at it? I said, Prabhuji, when do you want me to come and take a look? He said, can you come now? It was 10 p.m. 10 p.m. at night. He said, can you come now? I said, sure. And temple is around 35-40 minutes drive from our house. I just put on clothes, Vaishnava clothes, tilak. I took my medical kit thinking that it's an abscess. I took my incision and drainage kit, local anesthesia, and I rushed to the temple. And there Maharaj was still sitting in the self-discovery building on the ground floor where Maharaj usually stays. And he was talking to Kalasudha Mataji and, all those recipes, so many discussions were going on. Vedasar Prabhu was there. And suddenly I go there and I was ushered in because I had come to see Guru Maharaj. And I was allowed to sit at his lotus feet. And then Maharaj even showed me his lotus feet. And I examined, and it was a small abscess near his big toe. So they asked me what is to be done. I said, this has to be lanced, it has to be cut, and the pus has to be removed. So then Guru Maharaj asked me, amidst all those meetings and everything, he looked at me, he said, so how are you going to do it? I said, Maharaj, I can give local anesthesia and then cut it and then dress it, and it will heal within 48 hours. It will heal. But to give anesthesia, I have to give injection, or I can do it without anesthesia. Just give a cut, because anesthesia is going to hurt, and the cut also will be just one quick cut, a small abscess. So what do you want me to do? He said, just do it without anesthesia. I said, Guru Maharaj, it won't hurt now. He said, no, it won't hurt. You do. So then Maharaj is talking. He's not even bothered. He's talking, giving instructions, giving recipes. And I'm sitting at Maharaj's lotus feet, hearing all that nectar and also getting to do personal seva. So I took a alcohol swab. I cleaned the area. I took the knife. And I looked at Maharaj and I just prayed that hope it doesn't hurt, Maharaj. And I pierced the scalpel into the abscess and lanced. As soon as I pierced, Maharaj shouted, ah! And I was so scared. I looked at Maharaj. Maharaj looked at me. Maharaj laughed. He was joking. Maharaj, he pulled a quick one on me. He was just joking. And then I cleaned it up, and Maharaj said it didn't hurt, don't worry, I was just messing with you. So then I cleaned it, washed it, put a dressing, and then the disciples meeting started in the back of the temple. And I also got to go with Maharaj. I was already there, in the entourage. So I went. And there Mahārāj gave some instructions which are very relevant to all of us. Devanam Prabhu said, can you give some instructions that you have heard from Guru Mahārāj that will benefit and that will please Guru Mahārāj? So this brings us to the point. So then we went to the disciples meet. I was there in the disciples meet. And there Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj said something that I will never forget for the rest of my life. It was very, very instructive. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Guru Maharaj said, there was one Mataji who had just delivered, and in her arms she was holding the newborn baby. And she asked, so disciples meet was all about disciples asking questions. So this Mataji asked a question. She said, Guru Maharaj, pregnancy is tough. There is nausea, vomiting, energy level is low, and now I have a baby. The baby doesn't sleep at night. I have to feed the baby, clean the baby. I'm not able to chant my 16 rounds. So what do I do? It was very brave of that Mataji to ask this question in public in a disciples meet. So I really compliment that Mataji for asking this question. And Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj became very grave. Now please listen, dear devotees. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj said, Srila Prabhupada has told me personally that if anyone chants 16 rounds every day nicely, sincerely, 16 rounds every day, and follows the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling, and just continue serving in ISKCON in whatever way, whatever capacity. In Prabhupada's ISKCON, we continue to serve, chant 16 rounds, and follow the 4 regulative principles. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Guru Maharaj said, I have heard this from his lotus mouth with my own ears. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj says, Srila Prabhupada has promised me, he will take that devotee back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. It is guaranteed. If someone serves in ISKCON in whatever capacity it is, whatever service it is, chant 16 rounds sincerely every single day and follows the 4 regulative principles. Bas. Srila Prabhupada said, I will take that devotee back home, back to Godhead in this lifetime. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj told that Mataji that similarly, I promise you, if you chant your 16 rounds every day, if you follow the 4 regulative principles, and if you just remain in ISKCON doing whatever service, big or small, that you can, I will take you back to Godhead in this very lifetime. But my dear, if you don't chant your 16 rounds, in 24 hours, somehow you have to find that time, 1.5 to 2 hours. You have to find that time and chant your 16 rounds. If because of some extraordinary condition like delivery or ill health or something you're not able to do, keep a track. Mahārāj said, keep a track. And as soon as your health is better, you compensate all those missed rounds. He said, if you do this, you will go back to Godhead in this lifetime. But if you don't chant your 16 rounds, if you break the 4 regulative principles, because you are a pious person, because you have been a devotee of Krishna, and because you are initiated, you will not go to hell. You will go to the heavenly planets. And there you will enjoy for thousands of years. 10,000 years you will enjoy. 15,000 years, 20,000 years you will enjoy. Kshine punye marte lokam vishanti. But after that you will come back to this earth. And then Srila Jayapatākā Maharaj, with tears in his eyes, Guru Maharaj said, but after 10,000 years, there will be no ISKCON. There will hardly be any devotees. There will be no association. And what will you do? Kali Yuga would have progressed. It will be hellish here, and you will simply suffer. So don't do this. Just chant 16 rounds. Follow the 4 regulative principles. And I promise you, I will take you back to Godhead in this very lifetime. This Guru Maharaj said. Number 1. So this is the instruction of Guru Maharaj to us. Nothing heroic, nothing extraordinary. We just have to serve in Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. Never leave ISKCON. Serve in ISKCON in whatever capacity we can, big or small. Follow the 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds sincerely every single day. Nothing else. And then what will please? So this is the instruction of Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj, and this is what will please him. And second aspect is preaching. Giving the holy name is very dear to Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj. Sharing the holy name with others. Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj personally instructed me. He said, you are a doctor and you should serve Prabhupada through your profession. With folded hands, I asked Maharaj, how can I serve Prabhupada through my profession? Srila Jayapatākā Swami Maharaj said that you somehow or the other get your patients who know nothing about Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu to chant their holy names. And if you are sincere, then Srila Prabhupada will inspire you how more to serve. So I said, how can I give them the name? Srila Jayapatākā Maharaj personally instructed me. He said, remember when you admitted into the hospital, you were doing all these tests. So there is a test, knee elbow test, finger nose test. So Maharaj said, instead of that, you tell them to do, point towards their knee and point towards their thigh. Knee, thigh, knee, thigh, knee, thigh. And then point towards the knee and point towards their heart. Knee, my, knee, my, knee, my. In this way, they will get the Sukrati of chanting the names of Gaur-Nitai. Because Maharaj said, chanting the name of Radharani, chanting the name of Krishna, Krishna nama kare aparadhara vichar. There is a consideration of the 10 offenses against the holy name. One of them is if you maintain material attachments. That is so difficult to give up. So it is nama aparad. But Gauranam, Gauradham, Gaura Rupa Gun, aparadha nahi mane, tarite nipun. In Gauranam, there is no consideration of offense, and tarite nipun, very expert in delivering the people. So give them the holy name. Nimai, Nitai, Nimai, Nitai, you do them. And Maharaj said, if you pray, then you will get more inspiration how to do more. So after that, dear devotees, whenever I do my part of my physical exam, I tell my patients, ni tai, ni tai, ni mai, ni mai. And then I got, because of the blessings of Srila Jayapatākā Maharaj, I got more inspiration. I also tell them, you clap your hands and like you say, hurry up. Come on, hurry up. Jaldi karo, hurry up. So you say, hari, hari. Hari, 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 hari. So I tell my patients to clap their hand and say, hari, hari. Ni tai, ni mai, ni tai, ni mai, hari, 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 hari. So like that. And so this, through my profession, I'm able to do only because of Param Pujya Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Mahārāj. So I would say two things. If we follow the vows of initiation sincerely, and if we preach, this is the expectation that Guru Maharaj has from us, Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Maharaj has from us, and this is what will please Guru Maharaj. If we follow the principles of initiation, the vows of initiation sincerely, and we give the holy name to others. So that is what I would like to share. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I spoke too long. Got excited. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Mataji, kindly.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Thank you so much, Adi Gadādhara Prabhu, for those beautiful instructions. Hari Hari. Hari Hari. So,
Mataji, remember the incision, the abscess on the toe? Hare Krishna.
that was, he said, got you. So, yeah, he is very jovial with his servants, especially because, we have seen that side of him, especially in personally serving him. It takes a lot, I mean, imagine one very senior Srila Prabhupada disciple was saying about Srila Jayapatākā Maharaj, that imagine if a person, is physically challenged, they feel, embarrassed to even come out in public. Like sometimes they just slur out, it's uncontrollable. There's some slur that comes out and then, something happens. It's embarrassing moments happen, when we are physically challenged, when the body is physically challenged. But for Srila Jayapatākā Maharaj, it never hindered him from making that public appearance. Rather, he is a person who would say, if there's no one, when he's taking his prasadam, if there's no one, he would complain, why is there no devotees? Why am I sitting here alone and taking prasad? I want devotees to be there when I'm taking prasad. They should sing kirtan. So, he may, like sometimes when some person, like even we've seen celebrities, when they are in the peak of their health and then something happens, they just go into seclusion. But it's like he has come out more, become, his Audarya nature has even expanded even more after this. So as servants, we sometimes see that, to make, because of course, taking care of him in that situation is a very, very challenging thing, very challenging. It's extremely challenging. I remember, those of you who've seen my Prabhu, he likes to wear jacket and then he'll have an uttariya or thing, and on top of his kurta, he wears like a jacket. So one day Jayapatākā Mahārāj just saw him, because he would come in for the early morning service to wake him up and everything, do his morning things. So then as soon as Guru Maharaj saw Prabhu, he said, "Oh, here comes my Raksha Kavacha, wearing the Raksha Kavacha. Come here, my protection." You know. So, and then my Prabhu just said, "Guru Maharaj, you are our Raksha Kavacha. This jacket is your personification for me, that I have you as my Kavacha." And then Guru Maharaj just laughed. You know, so one time I remember, this was right after his kidney transplant in Chennai. And that year, Srila Guru Maharaj didn't come to US, you know, because he was waiting in Chennai. From that entire beginning of the year, he was in Chennai waiting for the organs, you know, to be, for this transplant to happen. And we called him around May, you know, and I was crying. So, you know, I couldn't even talk, but my Prabhu was speaking to Guru Maharaj, and he said, my Prabhu said to Guru Maharaj, that Guru Maharaj, she's very upset that you are not here, and that she's missing serving you in the summer, because in the summer we, you know, travel with him in the US, and it's, you know, wonderful to be serving him. So I was missing that service that year, and I was crying, and he said, "Oh, Kalasudha, don't cry. Right now, if you come also to Chennai, I am in so much, I just don't have appetite now. I have reduced my weight so much. So as soon as the transplant is done, the doctors told me that time I will need to regain my appetite and I have to build on my weight. So I will call you at that time to Chennai and you have to come." So I was like, you know, I just felt like how a merciful father just, you know, cajoles the daughter, saying, "Ha, koi baat nahi, tu aa jana, iske baad aa jana, abhi tu mat ro, but come after this, you know, don't cry now, just come, I'll call you." I thought he doesn't even, just wants to, you know, pacify me kind of thing. But then as soon as his surgery was done, from the ICU itself, Mahavara Prabhu called my Prabhu and said, "Guru Maharaj wants her to come, so please arrange." And I had to undergo several tests. This was before COVID, yes? So I had to undergo several tests because he was going to be in quarantine. And I had to be with him 24 hours. So I was also not going to be allowed to go out. So I had to undergo like 7-8 tests Mahavara Prabhu had given that I had to undergo, take, injections and shots and all that, and be prepared so that I can be in his audience, you know, with him, because no one was allowed because of the contamination factor. He was in quarantine. So I remember when I went there, Guru Maharaj, you know, that day with Mahavara Prabhu, he stood on the scale and he weighed himself. He said, "Okay, so your timer starts now." He told me that now it's your duty to, let's see when you leave how much I weigh. That's your test, he told me. So anyways, it was so much amazing. You know, the servants, they were trained to take, the sugar and, you know, things like that. They take this, they used to prick him just before his prasad. They would prick him just to see his, the content, or, you know, his blood sugar levels and stuff like that. So they pricked him on his finger, little prick, and little bit blood came out, of course. And then Guru Maharaj just, you know, under his breath, he just muttered, "Vampires, they're sucking my blood." So these boys who were there with Guru Maharaj, this is in Chennai, they are very simple brahmachari boys from Mayapur. And Guru Maharaj knew that I was there, and I heard him, because anything Guru Maharaj says, so Guru Maharaj just under his breath, he said, "Vampires sucking my blood like this. Vampires." You know, so then one of the Bengali boys asked me in Bengali, "Mataji, every time we take blood, Guru Maharaj says this word. What does this word mean?" And then I said, "I am from Mayapur. I am a Bengali, but I don't know what vampires can be translated into Bengali." But I said, "Prabhu, there is a particular breed of creature that I explained to him in Bengali. And I said, there's a creature who sucks blood. They are called as vampires. So Guru Maharaj is calling you all vampires. You're sucking Guru Maharaj's blood." And then when I explained, I explained in front of Guru Maharaj itself, you know. And then Guru Maharaj said, That's right. Today you know what you all have been doing to me. Vampires, each and every one of you. So like this, you know, he would make, he just makes these jokes just to make, imagine, you know, it is painful. The fact is that this is a painful thing that he is undergoing. And what he is saying when he is saying or when he is saying vampire, whatever he may be saying, it is hurting him. Definitely, it is hurting him. But at the same time, so that we don't feel guilty to do that service, he really encourages us. That is his mercy. You know, I remember when, by the request of Srila Giriraj Mahārāj, his dear disciple Madan Mohan Mohini from Pune, all of you might be knowing her, she left her body recently. So Srila Giriraj Mahārāj had asked us to arrange for a call with Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj when Madan Mohan Mohini was here in the US. So somehow we were fortunate to be instruments to arrange that call. And in that call, Madan Mohan Mohini had asked a question, because she's also undergoing that same kind of, you know, physical difficulty, challenges and things like that. And she asked Jayapatākā Mahārāj that, Maharaj, what do you do when you are in pain? What do you do? How do you handle it? So Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj first response was, I scream. I scream, I shout when I am in pain. But then I look at my servants, how worried they get for me. So then I just calm down. That's what he said. So when we used to say, you know, I remember this one memory of Srila Prabhupada. One of the Prabhupada disciples said, Srila Prabhupada is coming down a flight of stairs, and Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet slipped, and he just overstepped on one of the things. And one of the disciples of Prabhupada, they just, you know, held Prabhupada down the stairs and said, Srila Prabhupada, watch out. He said like that, Srila Prabhupada, watch out. And Srila Prabhupada was very calm, and he said, it's my duty to watch out for your spiritual life, and it's your duty to watch out for my body. The same applies when we take care of our Guru Vargas, of our Gurus, that the physical body of the spiritual master is the disciple's responsibility. We have to act in a way that actually is able to give the spiritual master proper sustenance in that body. It's a transcendental body, but he does undergo pain. And regarding instructions, of course, those of us who've heard his recent Vyasa Puja lecture in Mayapur, he has said very specifically, he is stressing on all ISKCON devotees to get education. The education is very much stressed, that please, Srila Prabhupada has taken so much trouble to give us his books. He has taken so much trouble. So please, you know, get Bhakti Shastri degree, get your Bhakti Vaibhav degree, get your Bhakti Vedanta degree, and getting that, go and preach. Being, you know, empowered by the parampara, get out and preach. That is the instruction of Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj. This is the recent instruction. So preaching, of course, is extremely dear to Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj's heart. It is his life and soul. I remember one time he was in Chowpatty, he was in Mumbai, and he, you know, in 2018, his health had again gone very, very bad, and he couldn't come to the US that year. And I remember that we were actually, both of us, my Prabhu and me, we were serving Srila Radhanath Maharaj. And we were with him in New York at that time. And Srila Radhanath Maharaj wanted to speak to Jayapatākā Mahārāj. That's been somehow our very cherished thing, that whenever we are with Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj, Jayapatākā Mahārāj somehow wants to speak to Radhanath Maharaj. So, you know, it gives us a very good access to reach out to Radhanath Maharaj, you know. Just one text, Jayapatākā Mahārāj wants to speak to you. Next thing we know, Radhanath Maharaj is calling. And he is, oops, this is on record. I shouldn't be saying this. Let's delete it. Please, everybody forget whatever I said. But somehow, yes. So Srila Radhanath Maharaj spoke to Jayapatākā Maharaj, and he was so merciful that he recorded a very sweet message for all the servants who were also taking care of him and encouraging them, giving a very encouraging message to all the servants of Jayapatākā Maharaj. And after that, when he recovered from that, he was, Jayapatākā Maharaj was very determined that he wanted to go to Russia. Right after that very severe health crisis, he wanted to go to Russia because there was a Pandal program that was organized there, which were going to have 30,000 devotees who were coming all over Russia. So he really, really wanted to go. And, Mahavara Prabhu, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, all devotees were trying, discouraging him that no, you should not fly. You can do, we'll arrange for you to speak live. And in that time, Zoom was not so active, but they were saying that we'll arrange for you to do a live session there. And then somehow or the other, Prabhu and myself are in that team of, caretakers. So Mahavara Prabhu mentioned to my Prabhu that, Prabhu, why don't you try and speak and convince Jayapatākā Maharaj not to go to Russia? So Jayapatākā Maharaj, we called Jayapatākā Maharaj, and we said, my Prabhu said, Guru Maharaj, maybe you should not go. And then Guru Maharaj said, where's Kalasudha? And I said, yes, Guru Maharaj, I'm here. He said, Kalasudha, nobody's understanding that I really fly when I fly. That's all he said. Nobody understands this. I really fly when I fly, and I want to go there. Why is no one understanding? I fly when I fly. So I need to go. But somehow we were able to convince him not to go that time. Nonetheless, preaching is his heart and soul. And I remember one time, when we went to Mayapur, my Prabhu was asking Guru Maharaj that, Guru Maharaj, we have, right now, we have around 5 Bhakti Vriksha programs. So we were very excited. 5 Bhakti Vrikshas, initial days, 5 Bhakti Vrikshas running successfully. So Guru Maharaj just looked at Prabhu and said, have you implemented the system? Have you implemented the sector servant, the circle servant? And then Prabhu said, Guru Maharaj, that'll come when the groups grow. That'll come at that time when the groups will grow after some time. Then we can put the structure. He said, no, put the structure in now. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's strategy. You must put the structure now. You think when it grows, anybody will want to get into the structure? Then every group will become its own island. So if you want the group to be, all having one proper connection, then it's important to implement the structure from the very beginning, the structure given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Lord Nityananda. So these are some of his preaching instructions, that how preaching is so dear to his heart. And at the same time, how also taking care of devotees. One thing that he teaches us by his own example is how to respect and love unconditionally. Whether a person is doing whatever does not matter. How we are doing with that person that's what matters. Because Vaishnava relationship, I remember Srila Jayapatākā Maharaj telling us this personally. He told us, see, Vaishnava relationship is always between me and Krishna. It's not between me and you. There's a third person in that relationship, and that is Krishna. So when we are offended by any devotee, then of course Krishna takes offense. But similarly, if we offend another devotee, then Krishna also takes offense. And if we react on that offense, then we are taking the thing upon ourselves, and we are not allowing Krishna to act. Krishna is saying, fine, you want to take on that entire thing? I will not intervene. Then we are keeping Krishna out of the equation. And that's not a very smart move. So if we want to attract Krishna's mercy, if we want to have cordial Vaishnava relationship, always we must remember this formula, that it's always between us and Krishna. We are getting judged by that, how we are behaving with others. Not how others are behaving. That should not be our lookout. How others are behaving, that's for Krishna to look out. If we start looking out, Krishna is going to neglect us also. That's something that we must, and that's something that we have learned from Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj by his personal instructions. And through the storms that we've been through, the roller coaster rides that we are been through, going through, whatever, this one strong support of Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj, Srila Radhanath Mahārāj, Srila Loknath Mahārāj, Srila Bhakticharu Mahārāj when he was here, Srila Giriraj Mahārāj, all of these personalities, their faith, their support. So that makes us feel, let the entire world spit at us, it is okay. But as long as Guru and Krishna know what we are, it is fine. That is the success of our lives. So as long as we know that, yes, we are here to have love and trust amongst devotees is something very, very important, which is the crux of teachings of Srila Jayapatākā Mahārāj. He lives by the principles of love and trust. You see, love and trust, both these emotions cannot be found together in the material world. It's impossible. We love our kids, but we don't necessarily trust them with our car keys, right? We may trust our accountant, but we don't necessarily love them. So love and trust is only possible in spiritual relationships. So when we can love, really love each other with Krishna in the center, we trust each other, we really respect each other. That is the success of Srila Prabhupada, of his, Srila Niranjan Maharaj told us one time when we were in Mayapur, he told us, I have spent 30 years of my life serving the movement of Srila Prabhupada, but now this pandemic has taught me to serve the mission of Srila Prabhupada. There's a difference. In the movement, there can be so many things that can happen. But in the mission, what is the mission of Srila Prabhupada? That is the mission of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Jare dakho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. That is the mission. And if we are able to do that, like Adi Gadādhara Prabhu was saying, just chant 16 rounds, follow the 4 regulative principles, serve in any capacity in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is there with us. And as long as we are doing that, have nice relationship with devotees, keep our lives barricaded, our Bhakti Lata beach barricaded by the loving Vaishnava Sangha. This is the weapon of Lord Chaitanya in Kali Yuga. Sangopangastra Parshadam. This is his astra. So this astra of Vaishnava Sangha should be the one that we must really keep ourselves protected by and sheltered with. So that even outside people, when they see that, yes, we want to join this mission, that, yes, we can feel genuinely loved for, we can feel genuinely cared for when we are in this mission of Srila Prabhupada. That pure love of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, which is manifested actually from the tears of Srimati Radharani. For her compassion that she had upon the living entities, Mahaprabhu came for that. Krishna came as Mahaprabhu just to wipe the tears of Radharani. And our purpose of our life should just be to serve that mission of Srimati Radharani, to wipe her tears. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji, once again. Srila Jayapatākā Swāmī Guru Mahārāj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hare Hare Bol.